I made a video talking about how I've been like transitioning through friend groups, and making new friends is something that is really difficult. Luckily, motorcycles kind of helps facilitate this process. It helps me find people with likewise interests, but kind of an issue that's kind of more for me, not for like normal people, but whenever I meet somebody new on a motorcycle, more likely than not, they've probably seen my videos and have already formulated opinion about me.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a YouTube channel?
I do.
Yeah, I think I have seen your videos on YouTube.
It's probably
Yeah,
me.
good content, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Hopefully only the good videos, but
Yeah. Nice bike.
thank you, man.
Whether it's positive or negative, the fact is they probably know more about me than I know about them. So meeting new people on a bike has been hard, but not impossible. If you guys have been noticing my videos, at least on my short form stuff, if you guys have been watching and paying attention, I've been riding with a lot of different people, a lot of new people that I've never ridden with or talked to before. And I've been really grateful for that. Those guys have been super cool and super accepting. I've been loving hanging out with them, and they talk crap to each other and they talk crap to me, and I like that. I don't like people that just like glaze you entirely as a person, because then you don't get better as a person. Like sometimes there's truth in the jokes that you make, and I appreciate that stuff. Holds me accountable, holds them accountable. It makes everything. That's how male friendship should be. The group I've been hanging out with is also a little bit younger. They range from all the way from my age, a little bit older than my age, probably like 24, 25 to 17. And 2 days ago, the 17-year-old kid, he hasn't been directly involved in any of my videos, but he's kind of been in the background. You can probably see him. I'm not going to directly call him out here because I don't think he deserves that, nor do I don't know if he wants that, but he wrecked really badly. 17-year-old kid, man. Bright, cool young kid, going to school, doing everything he's supposed to in life, positive energy, awesome to be around, wrecked his bike. And I'm not going to say exactly what he was doing, but he was riding a Gixxer 1000. And I know it kind of gets a little complicated on this page sometimes whenever I talk about a more powerful motorcycle, because the normal people, like my mom or my dad who watch these videos, they don't know what that bike is. So how do I properly convey to you the power of that bike? Well, it's one of the most insane bikes that you can buy in the market. It is so ridiculously fast than anything else on the road. You would need a car that costs upwards of $500,000 stock to beat that. That's even if you can get lucky. It is such a ridiculous bike that some people argue if they should even be legal to sell to people, let alone a 17-year-old. And if it sounds like I'm frustrated, I am a little bit. Not at the kid, he's just doing what kids do, but it makes me sad because that kid almost died. He almost died doing something that he loves. Now luckily he was wearing full leather gear. He had literally a tracksuit on, which is better than what I always do. Full leather gear, a $1,500 helmet, hit the ground doing way too fast. His bike slid 850 feet. I'm not going to say the speed he was going, allegedly, but something dumb. Now the friend group that I've been hanging around, these guys, these group of gentlemen, have been good influences on him. I can't even say it's like the people around him have been bad for him, because every time I've been riding with these guys, you know what they do? They hop on their bikes and they ride the speed limit. Everyone's chill. Someone sent me a video by Adobo Moto lately. Now, if you guys haven't been caught up on what happened with Adobo Moto earlier this year, the dude said some things about us doing a track day, and then he removed everything, said some things about Jixabra. Jixabra is allegedly taking him to court about it or something like that. I don't really know. Can't speak on that, but what he did do recently is wreck his Ducati V4 twice on track at a green arrow, buddy. Jesus, the heat is just making everybody stupid. I had some people ask, they sent it to me, they were like, oh, what do you think about this? He wrecked this bike, he wrecked this V4 twice. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't necessarily, I haven't gotten along with the Adobo Moto in the past, but the bro, he did the thing he was supposed to do. He took the 200 horsepower super bike to the track, and he wrecked it on the track. That's what you're supposed to do. That is the response. What do you want me to say? Oh, he doesn't have the skill to handle it? That's how you learn. Like, I don't like the guy, but I could at least admit that he's doing something. You know, a wrong clock is right twice a day. And I have the fast bikes. I get it. I have two right here. Technically 4 if you count these two, but I don't personally count these two. They look fast, but at the end of the day, they're just middleweights, only make about 120 horsepower, which is all you really need. I've never been closer to what I am right now than selling these two bikes. The V4 and the H2. I don't care. I don't even care if it hurts the page. I gotta be honest with you, I don't. This bike particularly has brought in a lot of viewers to my page. They're interested in the H2, but I don't even ride the thing. When's the last time, like, how often do you even see me joyriding this bike around? A few times. Maybe a little bit last week, but I don't really joyride. I don't find it enjoyable. It honestly depresses the crap out of me whenever I hop on that thing. It just, like, it takes all of my focus away from everything I'm trying to think and process in my brain, and it makes me focus on riding the bike because that's how challenging it is to control. I'm not Jixabra. I doubt that many of you watching my video are Jixabra either. I'm sure he exists. He might be watching this video. But my bet is you're probably not Jixer, bro. You can't handle that bike. I don't care how many years of riding that you think you've been riding, you can't handle that bike. And more so, you can't handle that bike either. I can't. I'm man enough to admit I can't handle either of these two bikes. I can't even handle these two bikes, but the skill ceiling on these bikes are low enough that I can feel comfortable on them and ride them normal. And I'm so tired of this dick measuring contest between people online because it's killing people. Now, luckily, this is not something I feel like I have to feel guilty about, because over the years, I've had moments of weaknesses, but majority of my content doesn't promote that stuff. Promotes relatively adventuring over the stupid riding. That's mainly what my content has been about, especially lately. I don't understand the point of owning these bikes if I don't even particularly for fun sometimes, maybe once or twice. The sad thing is, it's an impossible war that I will never be able to win. Many people before me have tried. I have tried personally. It never works. You cannot, even Jixabro has tried. You can't convince the masses of people that sport bikes aren't cool. That 1000cc sport bikes that go 200 miles an hour down the highway isn't cool. People will always gravitate towards the things that they don't know. Known towards unknown. But it's the ego upon the masses that think they know how to ride when they can't. I'm a victim of this. I understand it more than anybody. But I just wish I could make bikes like this the norm. But I just will never be able to do that. There's a little abandoned road back here that I haven't gone on in a long time, mainly because I've been scared. Oh, they have people mowing it, bro. That's freaking weird. Ooh, I'm getting all muddy. I thought it'd be really funny if I came here and I was just like, let me just dump my bike on the ground. Eve invited me to PA recently. We had a little double date. And I like Eve because whenever I hang out with Eve, it's kind of like the same way whenever I ride this bike. It's like I get refreshed. I feel refined. I feel normal after. I am, unfortunately, however, a very imperfect person, and sometimes I make mistakes. On this double date, we decided to go play mini golf. And I don't know what came over me. I'm assuming it's the immature man brain. I assume recognizing the bad behavior makes it somewhat better, but it's still not great. But as for playing this game of mini golf, I found this hole that was particularly very frustrating. You guys already know how frustrating it is when you can't get a ball into a hole. Long story short, it was basically a moment of weakness. And I got frustrated and I tapped the ball a little too hard. Really not that hard in hindsight, but still, it was hard. It's mini golf, it's putt-putt. Bounced up this little hill and then slightly tapped the lady behind it. I'm saying this in hindsight. In the moment, I was devastated. I was like, oh my god, I'm such an idiot, bro. And from from immediately, as soon as I tapped the ball, I knew what I did wrong. I was just like, no. Why did I get so frustrated? I'm saying this to recognize the bad thing so I can try to become better. It was just such a dumb, stupid, and I ended up letting that completely ruin my night with Eve. So what does this story have to do with what I'm talking about right now? Well, my immediate reaction after having this double date with Eve and having it go terribly because of my own actions, my immediate reaction was I wanted to leave. I told Eve straight up, I'm like, I wanted to go home. I wanted to leave Pennsylvania because that's where Eve lives, and I wanted to come home to Cleveland. I think mainly it's a byproduct of, I was thinking about it, whenever my mom and dad would fight as a kid, mom and dad, I love you, but this is something that you guys would do. My dad would sometimes just leave. Whenever they got into a heated argument, my dad would just straight up cool off. And that was his way of framing it. He wanted to go cool off. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I don't think that that's a really good way to handle not necessarily a disagreement or an argument in a relationship, but just negative emotions when I'm surrounded by someone who I love. My immediate caveman reaction is to run, is to sprint away as fast as humanly possible. And it didn't occur to me until just now that I think, as I'm riding this bike around, I didn't script this out or anything like that, but I'm just sitting here thinking, that is literally what I'm describing with the sport bikes and how I feel about them. I want to disassociate myself with sport bikes because I see the damage it's causing other people, and I feel guilt for that for some reason. Even though I had nothing, I wasn't with the kid when he crashed, I wasn't with any of these people when they crashed, and when they spend time around me and around other people that I've been hanging out with, they ride reasonable. We've been good influences on them. But yeah, I still feel damn, the sport bikes, they're causing damage and hurting people, and I feel bad. At the end of the day, I think it's just motorcycles. They're dangerous to begin with, and that's just what they are. I can't accept that. There has been so many, oh my god, this bike is so filthy. How am I supposed to wash all this off? There was something I got into last year saying repeatedly, which is time and place. That there's a time and place to enjoy your motorcycle, having fun on it, and I still stand by that. but it's got to the point that there is a time and place that has been on our local highway for a little bit, and so many people have been wrecking there that now they have state troopers posted up. Oh, we can't go this way. Dude, come on. So much grass clippings. This bike is getting dirty no matter what, I guess. I do dirty stuff with this bike. She's going to get dirty. What a surprise. That's about as private as a road as it gets, okay? Like, don't trip, dog. Probably shouldn't be doing this with the tire the way that it is right now. I'm just like hanging off the bike. I love this thing. It's so dirty. Oh my god. Why? I have no way to wash my bikes right now at the apartment. No. Woo! Woo! She came back far on that one. I don't even know if I want to take out the bigger bikes tonight, bro. Look how much crap and water's on the road still from the storms that we had rolling in through here. Miserable, bro. This is the bike to have. One last issue I want to touch on is kind of interconnected to everything that I've been talking about lately. This has been something that has been bothering me, but I didn't say anything about it because I didn't want to give any more attention to the guy that made the videos. In the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal. It's just something that bothers me about modern motorcycling content creation, I guess, where all this stuff is kind of headed. And I feel like especially I probably should speak on this stuff because A, it's local to me. 2, I feel like I have the ability to kind of have nuanced takes. You know, I have somebody like Adobo Moto who I don't like. I could admit when he does something correctly, even if I don't agree with other things that he's done or said. And I really wasn't going to say anything about this, but it's kind of connected to what I've been dealing with lately and what I've been talking about. You know, I made a video talking about my friends I've had for the past few years and how a lot of the friendships there have fallen off. And so in this little interim period in the summer, I've been trying to make new friends with a new friend group. And that friend group that has been really nice to me, people that I've been seeing, like, they're not just nice to me because I make content. They're people I've been seeing riding around my area for years. I've just never had deep conversations with any of them because I was too busy hanging out with other people. But now that I've had the opportunity to get to know them, they're really nice people. They're some of the kindest and dopest motorcycle people I could have ever hoped for in my life. And then comes this guy, to the tune of almost 1 million views on TikTok. Walks up to them, thumbs up, nice bikes, and then just leaves. And the thing is, I know these guys. I know who they are. And they're some of the most kind, respectful, and welcoming biker people you could ever meet in your life. They're made up of, like, regular dudes that have jobs, that have family. Like, they're just normal dudes that aren't into motorcycles for content. They don't make motorcycle content. They literally love it for the purity of riding. And this little aspiring content creator, I know he's an aspiring content creator because he makes a video every single day posting videos. He's an aspiring motorcycle content creator, clip farming nothing happened. It's okay, like, because it makes me think and look at my content, because, like, what if someone says the same thing about me, like, oh, you're clipping random people, like working people, like a cop comes up and says something silly. That is different. I don't initiate by going up to a random person. It's like those prank YouTube channels that, like, bother people until they do something. It's like, no, they're not bothering you, and you come up and you clip farm normal as people. Burn myself a little there. I've been crashing out this whole day. It might be the heat a little bit. I'm a little hot today. We do have a heat wave in Ohio right now. I've been thinking about I've been sitting on this for like a month. I've been sitting on this, dude, and it's just so. And here's the comments too. The comments are like, why I'm making this video. It's not the motorcycle community, it's the new generation. My anxiety could never. I hate being ignored and knowing I was heard. Yeah, bro, this situation sucks. People are so rude, not even a hi or anything. That's the difference between a biker and someone who just rides a motorcycle. This hurt my heart. I feel like I'm living in an insane world. He captioned it, the problem in the motorcycle community. Clip farming normal people that didn't give you a reaction, that I know for a fact are kind and accepting people because you whispered something. Probably majority of them, I think I know for a fact, have earplug. People that have made me feel accepted in a time where I didn't feel like I had many friends, because all my friends last year don't come out riding anymore. These guys have been willing to let me ride with them, feel included, and feel like I'm part of a community again. But because some random dude comes up and feels entitled to someone's attention because they don't immediately hop off their bikes and be like, oh my god, bro, is that a last generation CBR? Blows my mind. And that people comment and feel bad. I don't care if it's an unpopular opinion. I'm standing on this. I really don't care. I don't care if people disagree with me. I hate giving attention to bikers that like are doing really crappy things. The world, if that's anything I've learned, is the world owes you nothing. It's a fucked up world out there, and making friends on a bike is hard, bro. But I'm saying this as someone who's been low-key because of the thing that I do by choice, because of like the content that I put out by choice. No one's holding a gun to my head and telling me to put out content, but because of that, it has made it difficult to make friends on a motorcycle. I've still managed to be able to have done it, and I plan on posting the video kind of showing some of the clips, because I know a lot of my YouTube videos has just been on my own, and that's been on purpose. That looks like it has a little turnaround. I would like to go that way. I would really be interested in posting a video showing you guys my process of meeting new people and kind of how those friendships have been formulating. Because I feel like that's something I don't really get to capture, and the reason I haven't been filming with this camera, like my high quality stuff, is because I don't want people to feel like they've been having a camera shoved in their face this entire time while I'm trying to make friends. Because who wants to make friends with someone who's just carrying around a camera? I feel like that puts pressure on people. The advantage to having the 360 is it captures natural moments that are just happening, that just so happen to happen while we're all out riding. So I'll probably cut up a little bit of that and post some of that, probably steal some stuff from my short form stuff and convert it to long form, and that'll be super cool. You guys get to see that. But this is stuff that's been meaningful to me, because being lonely sucks. It fucking sucks. It's easy to just be like, man up, you know, man up, hide your feelings, but it's like, it's not that easy. You need friends in your life, and bikes happen to make it really easy, but you can't just like roll up to people and expect them to immediately get off their bike and suck your dick. You still have to put in the work. I'm sorry the videos have been negative lately, the YouTube videos in particular. Every single day I go out and I'm like, this is going to be the day I record a positive one. This is going to be it. I think the issue is whenever I go out with a positive mentality, and I'm like, this is going to be a good ride. And then I spend too much time thinking by myself or talking to myself, and then it just ends up turning negative because of that. I promise you that's not what my days look like most days. When I'm spending out time around other people, other boys, other men, having a good time, I promise you that's when the positivity comes out. And it's only going to be apparent when you see videos that come from this camera. When I'm out riding, having real, authentic talks and interactions with people. It's the only way you're going to see it. Positive episode next time. Love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.